Hi everyone, it's Samantha from the Dancing Soap Dish and it's Mosaic Soap Challenge time again. Yes, I've challenged myself to come up with a new and unique Mosaic soap tutorial every month for the whole of this year. Here we are looking at the ones we've done so far, and I'm really excited to also share this month's with you. So Father's Day is coming up. I thought it was time to do a mosaic for the guys, and so I've come up with these chessboard soap bars that have the black and white squares on them, but also something a little bit more interesting on the back. I've actually embedded some chess pieces. There's our king and queen right there. I've gone for a sort of marbled effect, so that's what the grey is. It's got the black and grey and the white and grey. We've also got here our knights. I've done the rooks, and I've also done the bishops. So there we go. I've embedded them in the soap as well. So it's actually a two-sided soap. You can have the chessboard, and then on the other side you've got the embedded chess pieces with the chessboard in the background. So I think they're pretty cool. I'm very happy with them. I know they're going to make some dad very happy this Father's Day. So let's get started showing you how to make them. Here are the silicone molds that I'll be using for this project. I have my mosaic mold, of course. I'm just going to be using this square section today to make my chessboards. And I also have this mold, I think it's a chocolate mold for chess pieces. So I'll be using that too. It's not very stable, this mold. It doesn't sit very level. So I'm actually going to prop it up against the side of my mosaic mold just to make sure that it sits level. And first of all, I'm going to just work on my chess pieces. I could just have them plain white or plain black, but I want to go for something a little bit different just to make them stand out a bit from the background that's also going to be black and white. And I thought I'd go for a marbled effect, so to make it look like the chess pieces are made from marble. I'm just using some scraps of clear soap base that I've got left over from another project, and this silver mica here that I actually mixed up in our mica mixing video. I'll put a link to that in the description. But I'm just quickly going to melt down some of these clear scraps and mix in this mica just to make a little bit of grey soap, and just sprinkle it on my chess piece mold to just sort of give the impression that there might be like a vein of sort of grey stone going through both my white and my black chess pieces. So next up, I'm going to start making the mosaic squares. I'll start with the white. I'm going to use about 2.5 ounces of white soap base, and I'm going to make I'm going to use 2 molds so I can make 2 sections of squares at the same time. And I'm just using the scraper as well to make sure that the soap gets evenly distributed between all those tiny little square cavities. I'm spraying it with isopropyl alcohol as I go, which helps get rid of the bubbles and also helps it spread throughout the mold. And then I'm also going to just fill up 4 of these little chess piece molds here too. After about half an hour, that should be set enough to remove them. You just have to bend and flex the mosaic mold, and then you can push the tiles out with your thumb, just like I'm doing here. They're still a little bit tacky and sticking together a little bit, so I'm just going to collect them over here in this mold, just making sure they're not too stuck together because I don't want them sticking together permanently. I'm going to clean up my mold a little bit so that I can now go ahead and fill the black once I have finished getting all the white tiles out. So yeah, I really love these mosaic molds. I've done a lot of projects with these, and I've got, you know, a good 6 months worth to go, or 7 months worth actually. Now for the black, I'm going to use, I'm going to mix up my colour first. I'm going to use a combination of mica and black liquid soap colouring, And the reason why I'm mixing it up first is I don't have a lot of time once I've melted my soap before it starts to set, and I don't want to be fiddling around with the colours too much. So I poured some isopropyl alcohol in here, which I'm going to mix the mica into, and I've also added a few drops of the black. So the reason I'm using a combination of the two is the liquid colouring sort of isn't strong enough on its own to go pure black, so that's why I'm using the mica. The mica will definitely make it a lot more opaque. But as you can see, the mica isn't pure black either. It's more like a charcoal. So a combination of the two will give me the black that I want. So I'm going to mix it up here. It's a nice glistening black because of the mica that's in it. I added a little bit more of the liquid. I'm just trying to get as dark a black as I can using a small amount of colouring. I don't want to overload the soap with colouring because it just, I don't know, ruins the integrity of the melt and pour soap. So here we go. Now I'm pouring my black square tiles, and again the rest of that will go into the final 4 chess pieces here. And then I can let those set for another good half an hour, and they'll be ready to pop out too, which is what I'm doing here. So once I've done this, obviously the next step would be to assemble them in an alternating black and white pattern. It's very easy to do because the soap mold that I'm going to do that in, they actually fit perfectly snug all the way around, which is really good. I'm just using, this is a cheese knife, but it's really, really great for scraping off excess soap. So it's sharp, but not too sharp that it's going to cut into my silicone mold. And what I'm doing is I'm just scraping off the excess and making sure that the back of these chess pieces are perfectly flat and level, because they are going to be embeds and I do need them to sit flat against the soap. So I'm going to do that before I pop them out, just make sure that the backs are nice and flat. So I'm popping them out here very carefully. I think, you know, the marble effect was semi-successful, and the ones where they've got nice sort of vertical lines, it looks quite well. A few of them have big blobs in it, which isn't as effective, but I think overall it's a nice effect. I'm happy with it. Oh, I'm worried about this king because he's got a very, very thin part up the top, and I managed to get it out without breaking it. Look, there they are. I think those chess pieces look really good. They just need a little bit of cleaning up, but they'll be fine. Okay, so here's the square cavity mold I was talking about before, and as you can see, a 6x6 square lots fit perfectly inside the mold. So to fill it up, it's best just to put your tiles along the top and then put your tiles down the side and then start filling the rest of it in diagonally like I'm doing now. Just in a black and white alternating chessboard pattern. And once I've done that, I will just also use, I've got a bamboo skewer here, which I'm going to use just to tidy up the edges and make sure there's no soap fray stuck to them or any sort of overflow stuck to them. I'm also making sure that the nice flat side that was down inside the silicone mold is facing down inside this mold as well. You know, any sides that have scratches on them or are a bit wobbly, make sure that they're sort of facing up, because they can be, that can be the side that the embeds rest on because it won't be seen as much as the other side. So there we go, that was pretty easy. Now all I have to do is just make sure they're all pushed down quite firmly. And this is sort of how they'll look with the chess pieces in. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to set the chess pieces up, but there's just a general idea. But before I embed the chess pieces, I need to seal the mosaic tiles. So I need to put a small thin layer over the mosaic tiles to sort of seal them and keep them together. The reason why I'm doing a thin layer, only about 10 to 15 grams, is because if you pour a heavy weight on them, it'll start pushing in between the tiles. It'll seep into the tile gaps and then seep under the tiles, and they'll start to float. So I'm going to do a very thin layer first. As you can see, I'm using clear, which I tinted ever so slightly with blue because that just brings out the clear. And I'm also putting a little bit of pearl mica in it because I just want the chessboard to sort of fade into the background so that the chess pieces sort of come forward and are a little bit easier to see. Simply because the chess pieces are black and white and the background is black and white. And so I really want those chess pieces to stand out a bit more and not get lost amongst the background. I'm also adding some fragrance at this stage. I'm going to scent these soap bars with Cedarwood and Cypress essential oil. As you can see here, that layer that I did has now set, and I've positioned the little embeds where I want them to go. Again, I am putting some fragrance in, so that was the essential oils that just went in there, and a little blob of blue. Oh, that might have been a bit too much. That's looking quite blue. There's not a lot I can do about that now. Just trying to get some of these bubbles out. Seems to be quite a lot of bubbles in here as well, which is unfortunate. But I'm just very carefully going to pour onto a spoon, and I'm just going to pour until the chess pieces are just covered. I don't want any of the chess pieces sticking out above the soap, but I also don't want too thick of a layer on the chess pieces because that just makes them even harder to see. So about 35 grams each for each soap is enough to cover these chess pieces. And I'm also spraying them with alcohol here just to get rid of any of the surface bubbles. And a little bit of a spray before I pour as well, just to help the soap fill in around the embeds. So there we go. All right, there they are. I think they're looking pretty good. Now it's time to demold them. They've been setting for a few hours now, so they have set solid. And I'm going to take them out and have a look. I'm pretty happy with these. The question will be, how does the back look? And look at that. That is fantastic. What a great looking chessboard effect. That looks really beautiful. And then on the other side, you've got your embedded chess pieces. It's a double-sided soap. You can look at either side and get, a great pattern, either the chessboard pattern or the embedded chess pieces. Obviously the chessboard is brighter on one side because I did try and make it dull when it was the background for the chess pieces, but I think these are looking really, really nice. The clear is possibly a little bit too blue. Did I use too much blue? I don't know. What do you think? Put a message in the comments if you think there's too much blue. They are looking a tad on the blue side, but I think overall it still works. I've got the king and queen. I've got the rooks and the knights and the bishops all together. There's that little layer there that's got a little bit of the white mica in it that you can sort of see from the side, but it's not super obvious. I'm trying to get the camera to focus, but they're so shiny. There they are in there with their marbled effect, and I think they're looking pretty cool. Yeah, I really like those. Okay guys, tell us what you think. This is May's version of the Mosaic soap, where I used the Mosaic silicone molds to make square mosaic tiles, which I then turned into chessboard soap with embedded chess pieces. If you like what we do, don't forget to like and subscribe. Put a comment in if you like this version of Mosaic soap, and don't forget to check out the other Mosaic soap videos. I really hope you enjoyed finding out how to make chessboard soap today, and I think you should go and make some for your dad too. All right, everyone, thanks. Enjoy.